welcome to you, Year 13, your parents, staff, friends, and other learners who are joining us this afternoon. I'm very pleased to open our virtual graduation ceremony for the Nexus IB class of 2020. I'm sure none of us could have imagined a year ago that we'd be holding our graduation ceremony online. And I know there will inevitably be some sadness around the fact that we cannot celebrate together in person. Nonetheless, I hope that this afternoon's event will be a joyful one, which celebrates you as individuals, as well as a group who have contributed so much to our Nexus community. You all joined the IB programme at Nexus at the same time as I joined the school. Some of you, of course, had been here at Nexus for quite a while already. Others of you, like me, were new to the school at that time. As a teacher, there's always something a little bit special about the cohort which starts with you. So that's what you are to me. You're the first IB cohort that I've seen through from year 12 to the end of your programme. I've enjoyed getting to know you over these past 2 years. Some of you through your work in the Stuco, where we've met regularly. Others of you who've taken part in activities such as school performances, IB events that you've organised, and of course in our TOK lessons. As a year group, I've been impressed by your resilience, determination, and good humour, as well as your kindness and concern for each other. These are all qualities that we really value here at Nexus, and I hope you will take them with you on your next adventures in life. I hope also that we'll see you all back at Nexus. As our graduates, you're always part of the school, so please do come and visit us anytime. In the meantime, I know that many of you already have exciting plans ahead for next year, and I wish you all every success in whatever you choose to do. Good luck to you all, and enjoy this afternoon.
Hello, I'm Zakwan.
Hi, I'm Masid.
I'm King, and we're the valedictorians for class of 2020.
So before we begin our valedictorian speech, I would like everyone to look back at all your achievements, failures, successes, and the wonderful time that you have to reach graduation day today. Remember your very first day in Nexus as you stepped through the Nexus gates. I remember mine because it feels as if it was just yesterday, when we were busy learning how to use a MacBook in the IT department, getting introduced to the many classrooms and facilities Nexus has to offer, buying and fitting into uniforms as student services, countless trips back and forth to the office, being escorted by Miss Leila, or maybe even waiting for lunch to arrive. As students and friends, we have countless memories together, many good, some bad, most of which we can look back upon and just laugh. For most of us, especially those who have been in Nexus prior to IB, we have grown together as a small part of a wider family. We went through so much during these past few years that I consider myself extremely lucky to have met all of you and to be part of a strong bond that we have all created. Nexus will always be considered a home to all of us. We owe a lot to every single staff, teacher, friends, and family for getting us through it all. And here we are. Thank you so much for all your support and for coming to our graduation. You have all helped shape us into the people you see today. And I can say with total confidence that without your help, we could not have been where we are today. The start of our IB journey caught all of us somewhat off guard. We had an induction weekend where we gathered together before the academic year began. A few months later, we were on the cast trip, which our seniors claimed to be the highlight of the IB journey. And boy, were they right. Both of these were more physically, mentally, and even emotionally challenging than any of us expected. Despite our different individualities, we managed to work together and function as one unit. That was the beginning of our IB journey. Some of the memories that are more unforgettable were big events in Nexus, such as Summer Bash, Spring and Chill, Party in the Park, Spring Concert, and so much more. When I was an IG student, life was relatively simple. Barely much has happened during that time. For most of us, we were simply doing our own things for the sake of finishing, occasionally putting more effort into some than others. However, IB is the exact opposite. I always thought about IGCSE being the foundation of what it would be like to be an IB, as those who did AP and MYP surely thought so, too. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. When we finished our exams, we said, that's it, we're done, only to realize that it was just the beginning of something much fiercer. IB is all about asking the right question and enhances the way that you approach challenges. IB has allowed us to grow individually and brought our year group together. Fellow graduates, I've known you for a long time, and I know that each and every one of you has something special. You are all creative and smart in many different ways, so please promise me that no matter how cliched this sounds, you will never doubt yourselves.
Much like Zach 1, I was caught off guard when I started IB. I expected the usual spectrum of teachers, some surprisingly hyper, like Miss Sam, others bordering on OCD, like Miss Bridget, and others with their own brand of efficiency, like Miss Saron, which one might call laziness, and some who haven't looked at their presentations in a year since last teaching it, like Dr. Andy. But one thing I did not expect was Mr. Kyle Lucas Milliner, someone who manages to confuse us by somehow complimenting and scolding us in the same sentence. Someone who can start by lecturing us on our poor taste in music, instead recommending an early 2000s French rapper, and end by lecturing us on the principles of Stoicism, as per 3rd century Greek philosopher. Someone who would look to nature, like at ant colonies and societies of gorillas, to help teach us something about life, or failing to find a sufficiently spiritual metaphor there, would tell us a story about his kids and their first encounter with a monkey. Anyways, don't worry. Deep down, we love you, Baldy. We are apparently one of the most international cohorts to exist at Nexus. And we're also one of the, to quote our beloved Fluffy Bunny, awkward cohorts as well. Now, if I was to describe our dynamics simply, it would be unorthodox. I feel like we bonded in a much more private way than was expected of us. A lot of the experiences where I felt closest to the people around me was in the thick of things, just struggling to balance subjects and casts and having to deal with the grumpy Kyle first thing in the morning and trying to understand why we're even learning about TOK in the first place, as well as other various bits of normal teenage life. But even in those deepest pits of hell, we still have the comfort of being able to message someone at 2 a.m. about formatting because you know that you both haven't finished your eyes. And from me, at least, doing all of that alone seemed insane. And I'm so, so grateful that when I walked into the IB Hub at 8:40 every morning for the past 2 years, I knew that I was going through it with friends. A lot of the time, especially when we're confronted by what binds us together as a year group, the only answer we could really give was that we're all different. With people born in countries all over the world, with people who may have been born somewhere but feel like they're from somewhere else entirely, people they may not even be able to speak their mother tongue, or people that can't but don't remember living in their motherland. All of this has mixed together over the past couple of years as if in one big social experiment. And the result is us, here, today, graduated.
And that should have been the end of the story. But then 2020 came along and proved us all wrong. Do you guys remember our last day in school? That fateful Monday back in March when we still debated about whether there would be school tomorrow? And most of us thought that the next morning would be just like any other Tuesday morning. We'd all be in our lessons, listening to our teachers, or pretending to at least. Little did we know that not only would that be our last proper day in school, but before we knew it, even our exams would be canceled. There's no doubt that the last few months have been, to quote every single email Nexus has sent me, unprecedented. Things have changed really rapidly. We've had to readjust our expectations over and over again, even with this graduation ceremony. And at times, we've all felt lost and unmotivated, which is understandable, I guess, when you're stuck at home having the same conversation with your cat for the 12th time this week. It can be easy to feel like everything we've done has been for nothing, and that we've put so much effort into learning these new things and equipping ourselves with new skills, and then we've been robbed of the final chapter of our stories, the chance to prove ourselves, the chance to feel like we've actually achieved something. But if there's one thing that this lockdown has taught me, it's that the progress we've made over the last 2 years can be proven in more than one way. For example, all those hours we spent doing casts have prepared us for a time when our hobbies would be the only thing keeping us sane. And all that research we did for our extended essays, that was just practice for when we'd have to trawl through the internet to figure out whether we're actually meant to wear a mask or not. And all the critical thinking we did in TOK has allowed us to put ourselves in other people's shoes at a time where compassion and understanding are more essential than ever before. Class of 2020, we may not have our exams, a proper last day of school, a proper graduation even, but what we've learned in these last 2 years is not lost. The transformation that we've been through is not lost. our achievements are not lost. These things are still very much real and very much relevant. So remember, today is your day, class of 2020, to celebrate that.
Celebrate with those who are around you and those who aren't.
In spite of it all, we made it. Be proud of yourselves and keep your heads held high.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
And don't forget, we did it our way.
The Nexus.
Leandro emerges from his IB experience more mature, reflective, and with a confidence founded on his successes. Caring and loyal to his peers, Alejandro's potential as a leader was also shown on the basketball court. His resilience is testament to his character and will serve him well. Alejandro will be taking a gap year and intends to continue his photography and also prepare for a career in physiotherapy. Alia has managed to balance her creative passions with a conscientious and diligent approach to her studies. Both outgoing and reflective, Alia's mature approach has not prevented her from having fun during her IB diploma. From sports to productions to MUN and more, Alia has lent her energy to many facets of life at Nexus and will now be transferring this energy to University College London, where she will be reading for a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences, a perfect balance for her. Ready with a smile and a kind word, Amir will often lift the moods of those around him. Creative and conscientious, he has shown a flair in film and diligence in his other subjects. A contributor to school productions and willing to challenge himself, Amir has developed his independence and confidence. He is keen to do well and seeks a symphony of success that explains his decision to take a gap year and work on his music. Asri is determined and inquisitive. Not shy to ask questions, he has approached his subjects with an open mind. His affable nature has made him popular amongst his peers and staff. Asri takes a humble approach to his studies, one that often allows others to reconnect with fundamentals of their subjects and develop greater appreciation. Asri will be going to study a foundation in business at Heriot-Watt University. Enthusiastic, capable and motivated, Lizaveta has shown consistency throughout her IB experience. Her calm, can-do approach to all things has allowed her to discover her own abilities and overcome obstacles. Supportive of others and engaged in the life of the school, Lizaveta's calm demeanour reveals her reflective nature and mature attitude. Her awareness and caring approach to global issues will serve her well as she will go on to study political science at McGill University, Canada. Manuali is not afraid of his idiosyncrasies. A delight in one of his age, he is a tinkerer, a mountain biking risk-taker, and a budding chef. Not afraid to pursue his interest, Manuali's inquisitiveness has made him an engaged member of class discussions and has led to an open-minded approach to the interests of others. Earnest and hard-working, Manuali is kind, thoughtful, and methodical. He will go on to study chemistry at the University of Glasgow. Jessica's journey at Nexus tells the story of hard work, a conscientious approach, and exceptional work ethic. She should be proud of the progress she has made and maintained. Curious and collaborative, Jessica asks insightful questions and is reflective in her approach. Focused and aware of her end goal, Jessica will be moving to Australia to study for a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Systems and then onto a Masters of Engineering. Kaiwei has been a quietly creative force in the school. She has contributed to numerous events and her eye for design is also an eye for perfection. Kaiwei is careful and methodical in her approach and challenges herself to improve. She has brought the same drive to several of the projects she has been involved in, consistently developing her understanding of how to lead how to better communicate, and how to get the message across. It is no surprise then that she will be studying management with marketing at the University of Edinburgh. Coco is hardworking and creative. She has made incredible progress since joining the school and has been a key player in several sports teams. Coco's tenacity has also served her well academically, and she has shown great resilience over the course of her time here. Both in her art and through her studies, Coco has found great ability for self-expression. Her interest in notions of the self have led her to pursue a degree in psychology in an as yet to be determined European university. Hardworking and humorous, Lisa has been an uplifting force in the year group. Keen to succeed and positive in her approach, Lisa is both engaged and engaging. Somehow Lisa manages to be both studious and silly at the same time, an approach that galvanises those around her and helps us all keep pushing on. A focused individual, Lisa also ensures she brings the fun to learning. I am sure she will bring the same positivity to her future studies as she goes on to study business in Australia. A caring young man, Zach Wine's conscientious approach to his studies and to those around him have been a pleasure to witness. His "How are you today, sir or miss?" is filled with genuine interest, as is his approach to his studies. Throughout his diploma, he has been focused on his academic performance and contributing to many of the productions and events within the school. A long-time Nexus learner, Zach Wine is an integral part of our community and will continue to be as he moves on to study criminology at Monash University. Nasmush is an inquirer. Diligent and hard-working, he always wants to know more and always seeks to improve. His positive attitude is a credit to his reflective nature, allowing him to seek and respond to feedback. This is all underlined by his caring and principled approach to both academics and the people around him. Nasmush will go on to study for a Bachelor of Business Administration at Simon Fraser University, Canada. Nisa is thoughtful and brave. We have seen her confidence increase over these last 2 years, and like the rest of the learners graduating today, Nisa has earned this confidence through overcoming obstacles. Creative and insightful, Nisa has a well-developed sense of empathy, a trait useful as she goes on to study nursing in New Zealand.
2020.
Kaylin is an unstoppable force, both on and off the sports field, driving many of the committees and teams she is part of. Kaylin advocates passionately for others and is incredibly hardworking. Her practical approach to challenges was on display during the Duke of Edinburgh Award and in the various leadership positions she's taken in the school. Resilient and precise, Kaylin understands what it takes to complete a project and achieve an objective. And after her gap year, will be going on to the UK to study business or sports management. Emily has blossomed in her time here. Her determination on the bouldering wall is second only to her determination to do well and help others, and perhaps her determination when asking questions and understanding how to improve. Curious and caring, Emily is humble and supportive of her peers. She's also been awarded the prestigious Lester Pearson Scholarship and will therefore be attending the University of Toronto to study psychology. A positive influence in the year group, Issa has quietly taken the big sister role for many of her peers, offering her support. Her work ethic comes with a good sense of humour and she's always keen to improve. Issa will also get involved in school life, everything from basketball to MUN. Her competitive edge is tempered by a principled attitude. She takes a calm approach to the challenges facing her and meets them with a cool head. All traits that will serve her well when reading law at the University of York. Julie's collaborative and conscientious approach has allowed her to get involved quickly in school life here at Nexus. Incredibly hardworking, supportive of her peers and a talented athlete, Julie has also developed a steely resilience. Reflective and proactive, Julie is not one to be put off by a challenge. Julie will be going to NYU Abu Dhabi to study a liberal arts degree specialising in chemistry. Park was always a deep thinker, considerate of others and their perspectives. A good team player, supported by his own strong work ethic, Park stands out on the basketball court, both on and off it. His enthusiasm is fuel for us all, and his principled approach to all is testament to his honesty and maturity. Park will be attending the University of Amsterdam to study sociology. Katrina's life at Nexus has been multifaceted, underlined by critical and enthusiastic engagement. From full engagement in all of her subjects to sports and service activities, Katrina pushes herself and makes the most out of all opportunities around her, sometimes even creating them herself. Thoughtful and reflective, she takes a precise approach that will work well at Imperial College London, where she will be studying biological science. Our very own Student Council President, King's leadership is both instrumental and influential. Calm and considerate, King takes a methodical approach and has helped organise several events at school. Contributing in both the sporting and academic areas of school life, King is always willing to help out. Her determined and balanced approach to the IB diploma also revealed a genuine curiosity, and King's ability to ask insightful questions will be useful as she studies behavioural neuroscience at UBC, the University of British Columbia. Logan has shown resilience and emerged from his IB experience with focus and determination. His open-minded approach to new ideas has allowed him to continue to be an inquirer. His confidence in his own abilities has grown as a result of his reflective and determined nature. Popular among his peers, Logan settled well into life at Nexus and in the boarding house. He will be taking his focus with him as he studies film at Simon Fraser University in Canada. Martin is thoughtful, kind and dedicated. Sometimes lost in the pursuit of a question or a thought that's occurred to him, Martin does not lose sight of those around him. Aware of his role within the community, Martin actively participates both in class and in the wider school life, from serving on the boarding council to bouldering and performing in productions. Multi-talented with multiple interests, Martin will be reading English literature and economics at the University of St Andrews. Courageous and caring, Mukri has found his voice amongst his peers at Nexus. Conscientious and resilient, Mukri puts the effort into all his studies. He also demonstrates empathy and sensitivity to those around him, and is principled in his approach. From serving on the student council to bouldering or printing 3D models, Mukri always takes a positive approach. Mukri will be going on to study computer science with cybersecurity at the University of Salford. Shaq's personable approach and attitude does not hide his determination. Ready with a smile, Shaq is serious when it comes to business. A self-starter, Shaq encompasses the entrepreneurial spirit in his motivated and resilient approach. Courteous and respectful, his inquiring approach has shown a genuine interest in his studies and how he can improve. Also an important member of the boarding house, Shaq will be going on to study business psychology at Birkbeck University, London. Xin Yi has found a reserve of resilience during her IB diploma that will serve her well. Hard-working and a team player, Xin Yi has also challenged herself and grown greatly as a result. She's developed her leadership skills as house captain, and her reflective approach has allowed her to get the most out of her experiences. Keen to understand and improve, Xin Yi shoulders responsibility well. She will be studying medical innovation and enterprise at UCL, University College, London. Yi Jun is an original Nexus learner. Here from the start, his smile and kind approach to those around him have helped make this a warm and loving Nexus family. Rarely daunted by anything, his feet's in the pool and in a pair of running trainers often left Mr. Paul astonished. We've all learned what being a Nexus learner is from Yi Jun: to be considerate, courteous, positive, determined and kind. Thankfully, we will continue to learn from Yi Jun as he will be doing an internship here at Nexus and working in Early Years 1 and the library. He will also be busy interning with his father's business and gaining valuable administrative experience.
Hello Year 13, graduating class of 2020. Hello family and friends. Endings like this make me think of beginnings. I thought it best to get the cliche out of the way quickly. But seriously, you were my first cohort. I started you off with the residential in Year 12, and I'm now seeing you out at the graduation as Year 13s. And it made me think about when I trained as a teacher. I was given the task of being an agent of change. And at the time, it infused me. It made me feel like what I was seeing around me could be improved, that I had something to do with that. Maybe I could make it better. But it also felt like a weighty expectation. And amidst the self-doubt, I wondered if maybe it was too heavy for me to carry. But along with this task came a confidence in the eyes of my lecturers and mentors. It was, at times, a gentle gaze imbued with hope and a fundamental optimism. There was a faith in that gaze that tempered the weight of their expectations. And yet, like many of you, I still didn't know if I could live up to those expectations, and I'm still not sure if I have. Because change is big and it's daunting. Of course it is. And it's scary to think that you could and should be part of that change. And as I had my own children, I came to further understand that change was going to be important and that you were going to be instrumental in shaping the world for Isaac and Amelia. Oh, before I forget, Isaac said I had to tell you to make sure that you had fun at university. Right. So look, I suppose I started to look at you all with a certain level of intensity. I guess I didn't manage the gentle part of the gaze. But I always had confidence in you. I could see past your current struggles or your self-doubt and see that you had so much to contribute. It was impossible to look at any of you and not have that same fundamental optimism because you represent possibility. And that is, I suppose, what change is, possibility. But I suppose I was also burdening you with an expectation. Maybe I was living through you vicariously. Maybe I wasn't reflecting on my own positionality, and instead I was asking you to do things that I couldn't do. Maybe I still am. Maybe I'm passing on the burden of expectation that I felt when I was also called upon to be an agent of change. You see, many of us have had a lot of time to be at home and reflect. And I thought about what Joe, Susan, and Val my lecturers and mentors, had charged me to become this agent of change. I thought about that expectation, and then it dawned on me. These expectations weren't a burden. They were an invitation, and I didn't read the fine print properly. See, what I'm saying to you is this. You're being tasked with not only working out life for yourself, but you're also going into a world that needs you, as it's always needed you, and you're being told that you can change things, to be part of it. And there are going to be times when you will doubt yourself. You're going to get so far, and maybe you're going to feel like there isn't a point, or maybe you haven't done enough, or maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you haven't got anything to wear, or maybe you're not sure you're going to like the people at the party, so you don't go and you don't accept the invitation. I didn't accept the invitation. I'll tell you a little bit about another beginning. When I first came to Malaysia, when I left Nottingham, I was given a book by a colleague. It's this book. It's called How to Change the World by John Paul Flintoff. I appreciated the gift. I appreciated working alongside her. I skimmed through the book. But it was a busy time. We were moving to Malaysia with an 18-month-old Isaac, and so the book got packed along all my other books and got unpacked alongside my other books and sat on my bookshelf, untouched and unopened invitation until a few weeks ago, because we had a graduation coming up, and there was so much change going on in the world. And I started wondering whether or not I was going to be a part of that change. And so I'm going to turn to the book for a second now and pull a little things out for you. I'm going to start with this one. It's a quote from the Native American activist Leonard Peltier. It says that we are each absolutely essential, each totally irreplaceable. And as you go out into the world, I want you to start with that premise, that you are important. Forget what state you think you are in, or whether you're good enough. You're important. And once you can accept that, and it's a daily thing to accept that, we have to move on to another quote from the book. And Flintoff says that there is a distinction to be made between people who are changing the world by merely existing and others who seek to deliberately make a difference. And here we have to remember that we have the power of choice, that we can choose to make a difference. But what do you do with that choice? What do you choose? There are so many options. And it's overwhelming because change is daunting. So we retreat. But there's another quote from Iris Murdoch this time. And it says that anything that alters consciousness in the direction of unselfishness will do. So start there. Start by thinking about other people, by developing your empathy, by listening, by having conversations with people where you focus on where you're similar and not where you differ. Mr. Flintoff has a lot of good advice, and I would recommend that you go and watch his TED Talk. And I think now really is the time for me to thank you, class of 2020. Because I have seen every single one of you pick yourselves back up at some point. At some point, you have steeled yourself, braced for the challenge, and decided to make an impact. So I had to pick up the book, and I had to read it. I had to match you. As you carry on in the world, I want you to know that you have already made a change, because you've already grown as people. We've talked about your resilience. You're going to need that. And I want to say to you, thank you for helping me understand the invitation that I was given when I first became a teacher. I want to thank you for helping me to read the fine print. Thank you for inviting me. I accept. I might even be there on time. Good luck and enjoy.
Aisha is quietly resilient and a thinker who considers various perspectives and maintains an open mind. Her resilience has grown during the IB experience. Beneath her quiet demeanour, Aisha is determined, tenacious, qualities evident on the netball court and the football field. She challenges herself and is a talented artist. Her upcoming gap year will give her further opportunity to develop her unique artistic perspective. Claire May is a bubbly member of the class of 2020 who has also shown adaptability and determination. Supportive of others, she is also a driven individual whose drive serves her well on the golf course too. Creative and inquisitive, Claire will be studying at l'Atelier d'Art Appliqué in France and completing an art preparatory year. Denning applies a thoughtful and critical approach to all things, sometimes even to himself. As a result, his reflective nature has led him to seek out feedback, develop across various areas, and also recognise his strengths. From basketball to the violin, Denning applies himself conscientiously and with determination. His sharp, analytical mind and willingness to engage in fruitful discussion will be used well in the future. He will be reading law at the University of Warwick. With an eye for architecture, Ijaz has laid the foundations that have made him a resilient inquirer. His caring and considering approach to others was also evident in his work with Nexus Community. Ijaz collaborates well and takes a proactive approach. His independent attitude has also developed his self-confidence, and he'll be taking this into his gap year. Lillian is exceptionally resilient, determined and focused. We are all very proud of her. Lillian has not shied away from a challenge, and her positive attitude makes her a reflective learner who responds proactively to feedback. With an eye on improvement and developing her understanding, Lillian is an engaged and motivated learner. She'll be taking a gap year before studying psychology in South Korea. Mariam has not faltered in her determination to reach her goals. Studious and considerate, she has balanced a focus on her studies with getting involved in charitable activities and the wider life of the school. Her methodical approach has served her well in all subjects, whilst her creative and analytic flair is also evident. She will be moving to Charles University, Prague, to study medicine. Michael is an insightful individual who has found many opportunities to hone this through the challenges of the IB experience. With precise contributions to discussions, Michael has started to reveal his potential to himself, and this confidence has led to a more mature and dedicated approach. Courageous and practical, Michael is an adventurous spirit. He'll be moving to Australia to study business. Roden has developed a great maturity and focus while still maintaining his cheeky grin. The thinking man, his inquisitive nature has supported his commitment to learning. He also has an open-minded approach to the world around him, and whilst he does not shout about it, is a very driven and motivated young man. A stable force amongst his peers, he will be going on to study at the University of Melbourne for a Bachelor of Science in Civil Systems. Suraj joined us late, but still managed to fit right in. With Herculean effort, he was able to get himself up to speed across various subjects and developed his endurance as he continued to apply this effort. Creative and considerate, Suraj takes an open-minded approach to global affairs. He is affable and approachable, making those around him feel comfortable. We all wish him the best in his gap year. Valentina is a talented, creative force, and her insights extend all of the class discussions. Reflective and a deep thinker, Valentina has a mature voice and a unique voice that is reflected in her artwork and in her writing. An effective communicator, Valentina will be going to Taylor's University to study public relations and marketing. Ziyan is self-motivated and challenges herself to improve and excel in everything she does. Studious and conscientious, she has demonstrated determination and resilience. Very focused and organised, she has a positive attitude and is helpful to others. She has worked tirelessly during her IB diploma and will reap the rewards as she takes the next step in her academic journey.
Nexus graduating class of 2020. Listening to all the stories of how you have been amazingly resilient, adaptable, and innovative throughout this most extraordinary of years fills me with such pride, such hope, and such joy for the future. I'm extremely proud to stand here as your principal as you graduate and go off to make your mark in this world. Graduating from the IB program is an amazing achievement in more typical times, but to do so now, when the world has been through a global pandemic, is a feat to be hugely admired. As young adults, you are now entering a world that is going through a period of great change, and I have great hope in you, our Nexus IB graduates, to be the future of what can and should be our wonderful world. To all of you, whether you have been with us for 1 year, 2 years, or most of your school life, your lives are about to change. Things will be different from what you have been used to at Nexus, but some things will remain the same. The love and support of your parents and families is unconditional. They have supported you through your time at school and will continue to support you throughout your lives. So be nice to them. And if you're going to live away from home, give them a call every now and then and let them know how you are, because you can be sure that they will be thinking of you. As a Nexus and IB graduate, you have completed an academically rigorous yet ultimately rewarding experience that has prepared you to be the wonderful, independent, caring young people that you are today. Remember our Nexus Way: inclusion, innovation, relationships, and mindsets. Our approach to inclusion will have helped you to appreciate others and share the world with those around you who are the same as you, as well as those who are different. This year especially has required us all to be innovative, and I truly believe that one good thing to come out of this pandemic is that many young people have realized that, as Barack Obama recently attested to, our leaders do not have all the answers. So if the world is going to get better, it's going to be up to you. We need you. So continue to demand what you know is right and improve the world that you go into. Whether you're headed to university, the world of work, or taking a gap year, my advice to you is the same. Leave here and do whatever you do with just one explicit goal. Don't aim just to make a career, make a life. Because whatever career you choose to take, whether it be medicine, research, law, the arts, or engineering, you can be assured that you will have the opportunity and the ability to make a positive change. And by innovating and making a difference, you will make your mark. You can achieve great things by becoming the greatest version of you that you can be. The importance of relationships has been highlighted too this year, and many thanks to those of you in the Student Council who have this year and over the years supported and cared for the well-being of your peers. It's clear that society works best when we think not just about ourselves, but about each other. Remember, too, to be kind to yourselves and have compassion for yourselves as well as others. Perfection very rarely exists, and the constant pursuit of it is not an achievable goal. So be open to failure too. Accept criticism and try to learn from it. Have the mindset that to learn from life is the way in which we blossom and grow. And so, class of 2020, you have proven that you have the capacity to change the world for good. So go and do it. You have the support of the Nexus community, and we will all be extremely fulfilled if you take a little bit of Nexus with you in your hearts for the future. Good luck.